Internal Revenue Service IRS tax news. IRS reminds heavy vehicle owners of August 31st highway use tax return deadline. There's a YouTube video on this called Truckers Mark Your Calendars to File Form 2290. There's a link to that here. IR 2021-164, August 4th, 2021, Washington. The Internal Revenue Service reminds those who have registered or are required to register large trucks and buses that it's time to file tax year 2021 Form 2290 heavy highway vehicle use tax return. There's a link to that here. The deadline to file and pay is August 31st, 2021 for vehicles used on the road during July 2021. The highway use tax applies to highway motor vehicles with a taxable gross weight of 55,000 pounds or more. Taxpayers unsure if they must file can use the IRS online tool, Do I Need to Pay the Heavy Highway Vehicle Use Tax? There's a link to that here. The question and answer format helps owners determine if they are required to pay the highway use tax. The Understanding Form 2290 Heavy Highway Vehicle Use Tax, there's a link to that here. Recorded webinar is also available, so you can take a look at the recorded webinar if you so choose. Ready to file? Gather information. Employer identification number, the EIN, not a social security number. So the EIN is like the business number. So they want the EIN number, not the social security number. For those who do not have one, it can take about 4 weeks to establish a new EIN. See how to apply for an EIN. So EIN numbers are going to be the number that, if you're a business, could be the number that you want to report to the IRS generally. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need employees to file the EIN number, because you might need it for other contexts such as this, such as giving it to other people for 1099 information and whatnot, rather than the social security number. It's usually a pretty easy process to get the EIN. You may be able to do most of the process online. So vehicle identification number and taxable gross weight of each vehicle, that's what you're also going to need. The vehicle identification number clearly, and the taxable gross weight of each vehicle. How to file. E-file, there's a link to that here, is required when reporting 25 or more vehicles on Form 2290 and is the preferred filing method. The IRS provides a watermark Schedule 1 within minutes after accepting the electronically filed return. So if you e-file it, you get that nice watermark, it looks like, or some kind of identification or verification that the return has indeed been filed, which is nice. Visit irs.gov, irs.gov, the IRS website, for a list of IRS-approved e-file providers. There's also a link to that e-file providers here. On paper, you can complete and mail Form 2290. Expect to receive the stamped Schedule 1 within 6 weeks after the IRS receives the form. See Tax Year 2021 instructions for Form 2290 for the correct mailing address. There's a link to that here. How to pay. Pay by credit card or debit card. There's a link to that here. Electronic funds withdrawal can be authorized as part of the e-file process. There's a link to that here. Electronic federal tax payment system requires advanced enrollment. So if you want to use that one, there's a link to that here. You need to be enrolled advanced in order to do that. Note that if you pay by debit or credit card, you might have a fee, a small fee. I don't think that's charged by the IRS, but by the credit card company. So if you use one of these other methods, then you may not be charged any kind of fee on it, I believe. So check or money order using Form 2290V payment voucher. There's a link for that payment voucher here, and you mail it to, and you can check out this IRS at this address at the link, but it's the Internal Revenue Service, P.O. Box 9322500, Louisville, Kentucky 40293, 2500. Vehicle registration date. The filing deadline is not tied to the vehicle registration date. Regardless of the vehicle's registration renewal date, taxpayers must file Form 2290 by the last day of the month following the month in which the taxpayer first used the vehicle on a public highway during the taxable period. For more information, visit the Trucking Tax Center at irs.gov/trucker. There's a link to that here. Also available in Spanish, so you can see it in Espanol as well. There's a link to that here. Need more help? Call the Form 2290 call site weekdays between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern Time from the U.S. There's the phone number here. I'll let you can see the phone number in the link, but it's 866-699-4096. It's toll-free, apparently. From Canada or Mexico, it's the 859-320-3581. That's not toll-free. For more information, see frequently asked questions for truckers who e-file. There's a link to that here. Also available in Spanish, Espanol, and frequently asked questions for Indian tribal governments regarding highway use tax. There's a link to that here. There's links to all this wonderful information you can read up on, and there'll be a link to this in the description.